Hi there, I'm Dave Marks, and let's get started in basic scales. Lesson 1 is the major pentatonic scale. Major pentatonic is a 5-note scale. It gets used a lot in folk music. It gets used a lot in sort of modern pop, and you can hear the sound of it in a lot of different places. It's a very open, bright, nice sounding scale. Major scales and major scale derivatives tend to be described as being happy sounding. So the sound of the major pentatonic is open, bright, happy. In this, we're going to start on the 8th fret of our E string and play from the 8th fret to the 10th fret. Move to the A string and play 7th fret to the 10th fret. And then move to the D string and play 7th fret to the 10th fret. So you get this. Now all the way through on my plucking hand, I'm starting with a second finger, then the first, moving up a string, second finger, then first, moving up a string, second finger, then first. So always 2 1 2 1 2 1. Try and get this scale slow and under control. Try and get it where the sound quality of every note is good, and pay close attention to which fingers you're using. Let's take a look at the fingering. There's two options for this really. We could do the whole thing with fingers 1 and 4. Say for example I started with a compressed hand shape, which is where the fingers are close together. Play the 8th fret and 10th fret. That was fingers 1 and 4. And then use fingers 1 and 4 for the next 4 notes. The other option would be to use what's called 1 finger per fret, which is to play second finger to the 4th, and then 1st to 4th, and finish with 1st and 4th. Now say we take this idea in C and we play it down in the key of G. So this time we're going to start on the 3rd fret, on our root note will become G. And here it makes a lot more sense to play 1st finger to 4th finger, because the distance from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret is quite a spread. If you have slightly smaller hands or a bigger bass, if your hands aren't particularly strong, especially if you're a beginner, it can be a lot more strenuous on your hand than it needs to be to play with strict 1 finger per fret down here. So a lot of people, and me included even now after all the years I've been playing, would use fingers 1 and 4 for the whole thing. It's another discipline. People keep talking about making your hands strong and building up the muscles and all that kind of stuff, and I dig that. I know what you mean, but it would be more important that you could build up fluidity and sort of a more graceful style of playing. You don't need brute strength to play musical instruments like this. It doesn't help. So try and think of that. Have a little go on your major pentatonic. Try playing it in all different places in the neck. It always uses that same pattern. So if I was to start from the 8th fret, or the 5th fret, or the 13th fret on the next string, it's always the same pattern there. I could play 2 4, 1 4, 1 4, and so on. Have a good time practicing this, and remember, take breaks, drink water, and work on these things in little chunks. Once you feel like you've got the major pentatonic down, you can play it all over the neck. We'll move on to something slightly more advanced with it, trying to name the notes, trying to name the scale degrees all the way through, all that kind of stuff. But for now, especially if you're a beginner, just try and get the shape feeling good under your hands.